what exactly happened this morning?
This is the first time in a year of protests and more recently armed clashes between security forces and Syrian rebels that such a major fight breaks out in the center of Damascus, and particularly in this neighborhood that's quite upscale. It's home to many foreign embassies, many senior regime officials live there, and it's security tight. So this is a big deal. There were a lot of conflicting reports about what exactly happened, but the last report we've gotten is that the rebel Free Syrian Army had arranged for a high-ranking defection from a political security building. Something went wrong, a big gunfire erupted, and it lasted hours before dawn this morning.
Nour, does this indicate that they're targeting specific government officials or something like that? Because, as you say, the fighting seems to be getting more central, right, closer to where some of these government officials live.
Yeah, it does indicate that the Free Syrian Army fighters, and really they're just kind of a loose grouping for army defectors and other kind of, neighborhood battalions who have taken up arms against the regime, are getting quite bold. And whereas they were crushed in some of these rebel strongholds in Homs and Idlib and other parts of the country, they seem to be really trying to assert their power, as close as they can to the president's seat of power in Damascus.
So, Nour, was this meant to send a message? I presume they were lightly armed and still remain, so this was, in many ways, an in-and-out raid?
That's pretty much what it seems like. The other important takeaway is the fact that, if their claims are to be taken truly, that there are more defections happening from key political and security buildings and branches in Damascus. So something like this is kind of a risky operation to try to pull off. Arrange a high-ranking defection from a political security building in the heart of the capital. But they indicate that there are people willing to defect from these places, and they're trying to help them. And that kind of gun battle is what ensues when such high stakes are involved in a sensitive location like that.
So with the situation escalating on the ground, what does this mean for the international diplomatic efforts that's underway, as far as I understand?
So the problem with this fight breaking out today, particularly, is that this joint UN Arab League mission sent by Kofi Annan has arrived in Damascus. And the point of this mission is to continue talking with the Syrian government about the possibility of a ceasefire. Now, over the weekend, we got our hands on a document that the Syrian government had sent in response to this latest diplomatic initiative, saying that it's open to a ceasefire, but that the opposition needs to lay down arms first. And that's made this latest initiative kind of stillborn before it even starts, because the rebels say they're not going to stop until the regime stops. The U.S. and Arab countries are also saying the regime has to stop first, since the reason these guys started fighting in the first place is because they were defending themselves.
Now, one of the things we've heard repeatedly from the rebels is that they don't have heavy equipment, so they don't have tanks, they don't have artillery pieces. Is that changing? Are they getting hold of those items that they need to fight a sustained war through the defections or through any other means?
Very slowly. I mean, in recent months, we've seen from YouTube videos, and they've admitted as much, that they're getting their hands on more effective anti-tank rockets, but it's very piecemeal. It's happening through informal smuggling networks. There's nothing to indicate that they've gotten these things through institutional support or from any foreign governments yet. In fact, they've really been complaining in the past few weeks that they're running out of bullets in a lot of places, and they just can't continue to carry on the fight, which may explain why they're, trying to carry out these kind of more symbolic, but, still kind of alarming operations in Damascus. One of these defected majors that I spoke to, who explained to me what happened in the Mesjid district of Damascus today, actually said, this was such an exceptional operation, and now I know you're going to ask me if I have any proof for it, in terms of pictures or footage or documentation, and I'm going to have to say no, because I don't even have a camera. I haven't even been provided a camera to be able to document something like this. So this was his way of telling me, don't even ask if the international community, has started providing funds or arms. I don't even have a camera to document this exceptional operation for you.
Wow.